there, welcome back to the channel and welcome to the last upload for today. Now, if you had saw my video earlier today, which I hope you did, but if you haven't, once this one is done, go ahead and take a look over on that one as well. As you would have known, or will now know, because I'm going to share it with you, that we took a trip down, well, one side of the street to Real Housewives of, well, Beverly Hills. Now we're going to go to the other side of the street and we're going to go ahead and make a quick right turn to Real Housewives of New York because we have a bit of breaking news, I guess, at this point. And it's one that has been quite interesting because Brynn Whitfield, who is, as you may know, one of the stars in the rebooted Rhony, which has been rebooted for the last couple of years now, has made her casting situation since the beginning of the reboot, has now apparently decided that she's going to exit stage left. Now, there had been rumors brewing about her potentially leaving earlier within, this time frame, and maybe around when the season was ending, which ended a couple of months ago or so. But she had came out basically saying, no, she's not going anywhere. There was, no maybe truth, or at least it hadn't realized itself at the time. Well, it looks like there may be some truth to it now, and it looks like there's a much more of a forward movement happening. Whether or not this will change later on before the season starts again, we don't know. There's been some unclear conversation surrounding Rhony as well. I have done a few videos on the platform, so if you would like to catch up on those, make sure you do check them out and let me know your thoughts on them as well. And if you are watching, I would love to know how you feel, the show is going. And we're not going to focus so much on the fact that it rebooted. The thing is, the past is the past. Now we're in where we are now, right? So you might have some people who are mixed. My thoughts, honestly, is I thought a reboot needed to happen a long time ago. So I am glad that, we do have these set of ladies, and I was willing to give them a chance and have watched both seasons. And, this last season was particularly difficult. And I did share about that as well. So like I said, there's plenty of videos out there on the platform to kind of get you caught up if you are needing a refresher or don't really know what's going on, but kind of interested and you want to check that out. You most certainly can do that. Now, we know that there was a lot of controversy going on in regards to Brynn this past season. And it seemed like things were a little bit off, to be honest with you, since the beginning of that season. And it just kind of really steadily went into a whole nother place. And then it got really quite dark and very reflective, of course. And then the reunion was just, it was heartbreaking, to say the least. So I know that I believe it's Peacock that runs those. So if you haven't caught up on the season, you may want to check them out. And if nothing else, definitely the last episode of the season and then all through the reunion, you definitely want to catch up if you're not too concerned about the rest of the season. Because that's where a lot of the hard-hitting topics and conversation and realness really came out. It was very heartbreaking and heartwarming in some cases, but I do feel like there's a bit of a sentiment, and I want to say I probably either read it through this sharing or at some other place, a point of reference, where the cast, reigning cast of the reboot, or to Rhony, we'll just say, maybe a bit relieved of, Brynn taking a bit of a break, I guess, from the franchise, and don't really know if she'll make her way back, but apparently she has got herself into a really good entrepreneurial avenue, and it looks like it's kicking off really well for them, even exceeded more than what they had thought. And so she's going to be basically channeling her direction and focus into that. So let's go ahead and get into the sharing that's being brought to us by way of page 6 and see what the details are sharing at this junction of Brynn Whitfield's exit of just after 2 years in her time frame on the show. All right, so let's go ahead and dive into it. Now, according to page 6, it says that Brynn Whitfield announces she's leaving Rhony after 2 seasons as show's future remains, well, unclear. Now, Brynn Whitfield's time on The Real Housewives of New York City has come to an end. The marketing consultant announced she's walking away from reality TV for now after 2 seasons on The Bravo show. Last week, Hoppy, the dating app I co-founded and proudly serve as chief marketing officer, hit a massive download milestone. I can't even put into words how surreal it feels. All I want to do now is pour every ounce of energy into building Hoppy into the #1 dating app in the world. She shared in a statement via Instagram stories this past Monday. Now, Whitfield, 39, went on to thank every person who gave her a chance, cheered her on, and afforded her love and grace. The Real Housewives of New York will always be one of the most fun, chaotic, and magical chapters of my life. she wrote. It was the honor of a lifetime to help reboot such an iconic franchise. From day one, I believed Rhony is a fan show. We're just temporary custodians of something that truly belongs to the viewers. I hope I made you laugh a lot, cry a little, and more than anything, I hope that there's TV in heaven so that Mimi, who lived for her shows, could watch me and be proud, she said, referencing her late grandmother, Darlene, who was her mother figure before passing away in March of 2021 at 81. Whitfield then plugged her Please See Below podcast, in which she has never felt more me, before announcing the release of her book later this year. She concluded her post by referencing her Rhony tagline saying, "We're done dating his dad. It's time to steal his inheritance." Now, the marketing executive leaving to focus on her business endeavors isn't all too surprising, as she's constantly shading her castmates, Sai De Silva, Uba Hussan, Raquel Chavarant, Aaron Leachy, Jenna Lyons, and Jessel Tank by claiming she's the only one with a full-time job. "I'm the only one that works a full-time job on my cast," she said on the Trading Secrets podcast in April. "We have influencers, we have models, we have art curators." Del Silva, Hassan, and Chevron is who she's talking about in particular. "We have people that did work at J. Crew 3 years ago, but now they're just like honorary positions." She's referring to Lions. "We have like a real estate agent that hasn't sold a house in 7 years." Well, that would be Leachy. And the news comes just 1 month after Bravo boss Andy Cohen denied the rumor that Rhony was getting canceled. In fact, he assured the cast was heavily underway, and Bravo, or casting rather, and Bravo execs had already met with 10 potential new housewives. And I also did a bit of an update for what was going on at the time for those particular well, I guess maybe rumors, or maybe people's uncertainties, thinking that it was potential that because they were probably hearing some things behind the scenes, that maybe that it was a possibility the show wasn't going to continue on. And when I tell you, it was a real tearjerker throughout the entire reunion. It did make you call into wonder if this was any longer a place for where Brynn would feel comfortable to be able to continue on, and not even just her, but if the rest of the cast would be, comfortable in continuing on with her as well, as there were secrets revealed and revelations that were put on blast, and things got really heated and very personal on multiple levels. And it got to the point where, some ladies were really feeling like, I don't know if I could film in this environment or with this particular individual. And when you start breaking down the cast in that way, people start refusing to film. It does take a toll on the show. And then at some point, somebody's got to go, because we're not here to watch 2 shows in one. We want to see a show that's cohesive enough for the ladies to at least get along enough to be able to do a show. Otherwise, then maybe it's time for someone to exit stage left. And apparently it seems like it was Brynn's option and time to do so. Now, who they will replace it for her will be interesting. Will this change the show's dynamic? Most certainly it will. Brynn, to me, was one of those ones who really like to keep things going. And whether they will get someone to kind of replace her in that avenue, or whether it'll be a totally different individual, will definitely change the chemistry of the group. Also, the fact that all of the ladies knew each other, and that's something that a lot of people take a lot of value in, is when the cast members actually know each other, because then the issues become less trivial in most cases and less trite and more real, right? Because there's always that astonishment of, why are you putting me through this situation when we're really friends on the outside, in IRL, as they like to say. So hopefully, whatever individual that they do bring in will be a good fit for the current chemistry of the show, and won't take it in a direction that makes it even more disliked by those who are not too into it at this point. Me, on the other hand, I am going to give it a chance to see who the next person is, see how the melding goes, and then we'll just, kind of take it season by season at this point. But yeah, I definitely would love to know your thoughts. Are you surprised that Brynn has decided to leave the franchise? I think it's quite interesting that she is taking on her entrepreneurial venture in a very dynamic way. It seems very fitting, and maybe a bit foretelling as of all of the information that she would share about dating on the season. So it does make a lot of sense, and maybe that was a way of kind of letting us know that these things were in the work as well. So with that, I think I'm going to bid you adieu, but definitely make sure that you drop your comments and your thoughts on this video down in the comment section. I'd love to know what you're thinking about this, and if you are watching the show, what do you think? Do you think these changes are going to really bring about a better chemistry, or are you just kind of waiting and see? Are you hopeful? What kind of feeling are that, or have you kind of given up a long time ago, as many have? But I'm a true diehard fan, I guess, at this point. So I'm going to hang in there. But, I've already just shared earlier that Beverly Hills, I don't know if I'm going to be tuning in this season. My diehardness is kind of wearing off a little bit wearing thin. So we'll just have to see. Definitely too. Make sure that you check out my other two videos that I dropped today as well. Don't want you to miss out on those. Make sure you do take some time and drop me your thoughts on those as well. We've got one about Harvey Weinstein's retrial and then mistrial on some charges there. So definitely want to check that out to get the updates, and I'm going to keep you abreast on that as I see things come through with that as well. And then also too, we talked about going to Real Housewives of Beverly Hills territory. We talked about Erica James and apparently her reportedly being emotionally distraught after Tom Girardi, as you may have heard last week, has been sentenced for a little over 7 years for his crimes of, basically taking from people. So that being said, has justice been served? Well, I'm sure a lot of people would feel so. Maybe some may not feel the time that will, be there as far as how many years he got is enough. But the man is 86 years old, and 7 years in that kind of environment. Yeah, that's is probably going to equate to he's not going to see much of anything beyond that. So it is sad, but this is what happens when these things catch up to you. And then of course I want to know your thoughts on this video right here. So with that, again, I'm going to bid you adieu. Definitely make sure you have your all notification bells on, because I'll be back tomorrow with some more videos, new stories, new sharings. I definitely want to know your thoughts, as I love to share mine. And if you are new here, I hope that you hit the subscribe button. That's right, and be part of the family, because I would still love to have you. And for those of you who already been rocking with me, I appreciate you so much for your continued viewing and listening support. I so do appreciate it. So with that, I'm going to bid you, do you have a wonderful rest of your evening, night, day, whatever it is that you're watching this video. And I will be back tomorrow, so I hope to see you then. Talk to you later. Bye.